What's up, you guys? I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre. Welcome back to the channel and this Marvel Avengers video. Today, we're going to be breaking down the basics of combat that you're going to need to know if you want to get started taking down bad guys and saving the world as your favorite superhero in Marvel Avengers. While each hero is unique, the commands and button inputs are universal from hero to hero, and so the information that you're going to see here in this video applies to everyone. Each hero has access to light, heavy, and ranged attacks, as well as an intrinsic super ability and 3 different heroic attacks. You have your health bar, intrinsic meter, and 3 different heroic bars displayed on your screen. Let's talk about those really quick before we go further. Your health bar is right at the top of your screen, that white bar, and right below it is the intrinsic meter, something very important that we'll talk about later in this video. In addition to that, in the lower right hand corner, you'll see 3 icons for those heroic abilities. These heroic abilities will slowly charge over time, and each character's unique intrinsic meter has a different way of rebuilding itself. But what about your life bar? In this game, they refer to your life as willpower, and you want to look out for willpower pickups. You'll see these little green canisters hanging out in the corner of arenas, and those contain a handful, as well as some enemies will drop them on the ground. These little green glowing discs that you see on the ground are health pickups, so make sure you keep your eyes out for those in the middle of combat so you can refill your health bars when you need to. But there's one more way that you can get health back, and that's by performing takedowns on stunned enemies. If you perform enough stun to an enemy, you'll be able to perform an animated takedown, and in addition to doing massive damage, it actually refills your bar. You can find out how to do stun damage by going into your skill tree, and each item has a specific set of kind of modifiers. It'll tell you what it does, and if you look closely, it'll tell you if it breaks the guard block, how much damage it does, the impact it does, as well as how much stun will be caused. So make sure you're paying attention to what specific decks do what things so you can make use of them in battle. And when you fully stun an enemy, what you're going to be looking for is a white bar underneath their health bar. See, their willpower bar is on top, a lot like yours, and underneath that is the stun bar. And when you fill up that stun bar is when you can perform a takedown on an enemy. So make use of specific attacks that will fill up an enemy's stun bar, so that way you can perform high damage, eliminating targets at the same time as getting your health back, which is super important in some of these massive combat situations. You can also avoid having your life bar drained in the first place by using dodges and parries. When enemies attack, there is an indicator letting you know it's about to land, and if you dodge at the right time, you'll be able to slip out of the way and avoid any and all damage, which can be useful in combat. But even more useful is the parry. If you time your intrinsic ability tap at the same time as an enemy is about to land their strike on you, you'll perform a parry, which will knock them back, as well as a few other enemies doing damage. So not only will you avoid the attack, but you'll actually do damage to them at the same time. Now, it's pretty straightforward to do when someone's right in front of your face, but not as easy when you're getting attacked from off-screen. Thankfully, they've included off-screen attack indicators that help you find out when it's about to happen. They are a little bit difficult to keep track of in these hectic battles, but super important to watch out for. You'll see a colored icon appear on your screen, and it'll start to fill up. When it gets full, you know the attack is about to happen, and then you can dodge or parry to get out of the way. Pay close attention for these icons in combat. Next up, we have the intrinsic abilities, and these are unique to every single hero, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. But when you use them, they get drained. In Cap's case, he's the only person who can straight up hold his shield up and block any attack, and as he absorbs damage, it drains his intrinsic meter. So finding out what each superhero's intrinsic ability does is very important. I will cover each of those individually in separate videos. Then we have the heroic abilities that offer unique buffs for that hero. The support always does something that helps out the team. In Cap's case, the rallying cry makes it so that any enemies affected within the radius of that take increased damage, and you can see that by the indicator on their head. You have the assault ability, which is always some huge damage dealing ability. In Cap's case, it's called the steamroller, and it's a super powered shield throw that bounces all across the map, hitting multiple enemies for massive amounts of damage. And then finally, you have the ultimate heroic ability, which is once again usually one that does massive amounts of damage, but isn't just a one-shot, usually something that lasts a kind of a period of time. In Cap's case, it's called the Brooklyn Brawler, and it makes it so that his shield actually flies off and out with his standard melee attacks, doing multiple hits of increased damage, and it's an extremely powerful ability. So making sure that you're utilizing these heroic abilities in battles, not only to deal damage, but to use those support abilities to help your team out, is incredibly vital. Now, what's really cool about this game is even though the basic combat mechanics are the same from hero to hero, they execute them very differently. Everybody has light, heavy, and ranged attacks. Everybody has intrinsic and superheroic abilities, but they all execute them in their own ways. Like Cap throws his shield around and it bounces all over the place for his ranged attacks. But Kamala has stretchy fists. She uses her long-range stretchy fists. And then you have Iron Man, who has a variety of ranged weapons, from repulsors to laser beams to missiles. And it makes each hero so much satisfying fun to use, and I can't wait to show you all the tips, tricks, and secrets that you'll need to succeed as every single one of them. If you learned something from this video, please drop a like on it, and if you're interested in learning more about Marvel Avengers, please subscribe to the channel, because I got so much more content coming in the future. In the meantime, I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and I'm out.